Hello guys, it's me, Ortiz here, and today I'm going to be talking about my recent purchases that I have done. Well, what I've done so far, but, my recent purchases, buying the new iPhone 11, some apples, also got a pug and oranges, which took a lot on my money, with really low download, you can imagine. Like, all my money went away just because all those purchases I did, especially because the iPhone, because it's nearly close to $1,000, but it was $990, which is a lot of money if you could think about that, and almost made me broke. Actually, it really did make me broke. I'm gonna tell you that. It's a true fact. But the iPhone, it's pretty expensive. To call the iPhone a ripoff actually depends on your own personal opinion. For some, a large screen, better camera, and holding the most modern piece of technology in your hand doesn't sound like a ripoff at all. To some people it sounds like it, and to others people don't. Everyone in this world wants something better and bigger. But imagine the long demand into this stuff. Like, for example, the iPhone 6 Plus. 16 gigabytes, 11 gigabytes, as long as it expands. The representation of the capacity. How many times a day people use it? And how many times people don't use it as much, but the percentage is pretty high. So imagine, for example, the quantity. Imagine P1 and Q1 together, the people buying it. Okay, imagine if they made it less. Actually, imagine if they made it less as a P1 and a Q1, people will buy more. If the prices of P2 went up more and the quantity went up too as well, that will be in the middle slur. And that slur, it's not a very good idea to have it there in the middle. A lot of people are going to waste their money and realize, wow, I wasted the money and I could have got something cheaper, a cheaper phone. That's true. That's a true fact. That's what happened to me when I got my iPhone 11. Right in the middle right there was a slur between Q2 and P2. Right there in the middle. Right there where it lands on. And I really did notice that it was a lot. And that demand right there was me wanting that phone. There's a needs and wants. You gotta remember that. But also, I remember the oranges. Oh my god. The cost of oranges are crazy. The prices in the United States have increased over the past year and are expected to continue rising as certus greening diseases keep killing certus trees without the southern United States. Now, imagine getting the supplies there, buying some oranges, and people say, oh, these oranges are killing people. Now the supplies will actually decrease. They would decrease lower. So imagine the supply rate was going high. The quantity was pretty high too, but it decreases. Now that brings to a point of equilibrium. That equilibrium just determines, if I buy this, it's going to kill me. For example, I don't know if you guys ever gone to McDonald's, and McDonald's says, warning, if anyone has birth defects or this one will slowly kill you. It doesn't say slowly kill you, but it always has a warning sign as soon as you buy something from there. They're stating that the products ain't really that fresh, but it can actually harm you in a bad way, which is pretty scary to see. Now, for example, the demand for the oranges and the prices. So imagine the 5 and the 2 here. Okay, the prices went lower. People are going to buy it. People will see the little difference in there, and they see how everything changes. But in order for all that stuff to change, imagine seeing how the prices of resources change, the number of produce, and the tax and the subsidized, and how that really changes too, if you think about that. But that 5 and 2, it means it's just lower, and the higher it is, the more people realize, okay, this is costing too much, I'll stop for a little bit. But I feel like the higher, like 8 and all the way to 5, people have a point that right there, that line that meets halfway, saying, okay, this is kind of too much, but oranges are good. But at the same time, you gotta also think that these oranges have some little diseases, or they might have something in them, of it, in the fruit. Moving on. Apples. Okay, apples have really changed completely different too as well. The prices, imagine for $5 worth of apples for 30 of them, right? 10, 5 at 30. We just do that for example, right? the price is how much for apples, and how much you're getting back, right? This is just a quick example, right? Imagine $20 for 18, then 25 for 15, 30 for 12. And just imagine of these outrageous prices, right? So imagine for like $40. Okay, of course the demand is gonna go lower, and the supply rate too as well, because no one wants to buy $40 worth of like 5 apples. Come on, now it's really outrageous. Now let's go for the $5. $5 for 30 apples. Okay, I know this chart is not really making sense here, but just imagine that. But you know, you have $5 worth of $5 to buy 30 apples. Now that demand will really raise up drastically really high, and the prices will stay the same. It won't meet at the middle point where the slur meets. That's when people realize, okay, I don't know about these apples, I should probably change it. But from there on, you know, apples, that's what I recently bought not too long ago. $5. I remember it was $5 for 30 apples, and it was a really good price, honestly. I believe so. It's really good. It does help out a lot. You know, it does. But I remember I did see $20 and you'll get 25 apples, and I was like, okay, that's not very good. You know, you're literally spending more than what you could have like spent less, and that was pretty outrageous to see. Moving on, my beautiful pugs, yeah. So my pug, that dog is the random dog I got off of Google, but that's actually my pug right there on the left side. But I bought this pug for $790. In my mind, I thought, how much would each were different, like for other dogs. Some other dogs are worth $1,900, and I thought just to have a companion leader that's worth that much, it's pretty outrageous to say. But you know, imagine having a scale that the prices are here, and at the bottom are the quantity. People want cheaper dogs. People want to look for something cheaper. Obviously, people will look for other vendors that will sell dogs for cheaper, but then again, these dogs, you know, are pretty expensive. But people want to go to the stuff that's cheaper. But at the same time, bro, like imagine they go to a vet and they see a dog that costs this much, and they have the same amount of breed that costs this much. See, that quantity and price is gonna raise up slowly because people never notice that. Sometimes I wish that people would have seen like how inflation really works. Like, for example, if you buy a bag of chips that was used to be worth $1, now that inflation raised up by a bit, now it's worth like $1.50. Yeah, those are the differences. That's what you see slowly every day, inflation, and a lot of people notice that. Let's move on. Law and demand. In micro mix, the laws of demand states that conditionals, all else being equal, as the price of good increase quantity, demands decreases conversely as the price of a good decrease. Quantity demands increases. That's true. Supply and demand. The law of supply and demand says that the higher the price, sellers will more of economical goods. These two laws interact to determine the actual market prices and value of goods that are traded on a market. It's like buying a computer that's worth $700. People say, okay, this is medium, but a lot of people will go all out to spend literally $1,200 for a computer that does all these softwares and programs and enhances and does everything perfectly. That's the supply and demand. That's how I imagine supply and demand, and people noticing, you know what, I don't really care, I'm gonna just buy this, I want the best, I want to be the best. That's everyone's mindset, which is pretty fine. But to me, to see law and demand is just noticing when does the limit stops, when is the perfect time when to say, okay, this is enough to see, and it's all good. And that's what I noticed through time when people notice that. And to me, it's like stick halfway until you see the right amount for you. Halfway meaning, okay, this is a good price for me. Because don't spend too much what you have, because then you won't use it for something important later on. And that's a good lesson I learned from my father. Thank you, Dad. Now, my conclusion, wrapping everything up. So, just wrapping everything up so far, my purchases like the iPhone 11, apples, oranges, my pug. Those were worth some money. And I clearly had to sketch out the law and demands in my head and notice that, hey, you know, the halfway point, you know. I notice how much these, I've also gone to different places, notice how much these prices cost. Most of them were pretty expensive, so I had to stick to my local areas where they have not a lot of amount, you know, to, you know, on that purchase. They didn't put a big price on it. put like a regular median price, that's perfect for me. That's my purchases that I bought. That's what I really noticed. And those are the expectations I had to see and really like open my eyes to. So all my preferences, and I have to look through. I have to look at the income that everything comes in towards me, and you know, the number of consumers that people have been consumed by. I've been consumed by like a lot of stuff, really, like my technology stuff that I have. These technologies bases, the stuff I'm recording with, this computer, everything. That's the stuff I've been consumed by, and it happens. And you know, the price have to be related of goods, but I've noticed overall that I open my eyes what to buy and what to see. And I have. So on the last slide, overall, these are my references. You guys want to look through my little stuff and everything else, I'll be perfectly fine with it. But overall, thank you guys for watching it. This is Ortiz. I'll see you guys. Have a good one.